Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for our radio audience tuning in at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all can be with us. Also, tuning in to our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast, we're glad you all could be with us as well. Our next guest kind of blends together two worlds that we talk about a lot on this broadcast, that being fashion and books. We're excited to welcome retail fashion legend and author Martin Sneider to our broadcast. Martin is celebrating a great new book. It's called Shelf Life. We're going to talk to him not only about the writing of the book, but also what it's like for him to kind of take us into the dynamics of this Feldman family that we're introduced to. And, of course, we'll let you guys know how to get your own copy of it. Martin, thank you again for the time. I really do appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Cyrus. Happy to be here.
Martin, I love books like this that kind of take us into the drama and excitement, not only, of course, of business, but also family. As I mentioned, you kind of brought these two together with the Feldman family and Shelf Life. What has it been like for you in this literal new chapter of your life, Martin, to see the response to it?
Well, I've been thrilled. I've gotten lots of nice compliments on the book, and it's a bestseller on Amazon, and so people out there seem to like the book, which is really very heartening for me. I really enjoy it. I really enjoyed writing it, living a retailer's life and being able to, at age 80, crank out a book and that people really like. So it's been a fun adventure for me.
Yeah. I love the fact with this family, and I'm going to get into it being written the way it is, with Josh kind of taking us through this journey, Martin, in a second. But I love the fact that you're able to show us the dynamics of the personal and professional lives of those we think we know when it comes to a business like fashion or retail. Was that also part of the fun? Because that's a world you know a lot. Was that part of the fun, too, kind of bringing us behind the scenes as to the dynamics that we don't always get to see in the public?
That was fun. I grew up in that life. My grandfather was a retailer, my father was a retailer, and I was a retailer. So we kind of all took it for granted, but happened behind the scenes. And so, yes, I grew up in this business, and at first I thought there was a story to be told about retailing in the second half of the 20th century. That's when downtown started to decline and malls started to open. All the way through to the Internet era, and it hadn't been told, as far as I can tell, and I thought it would be much more interesting and told from a family's point of view, because I wanted to develop the characters. I wanted the reader to understand the characters, the motivation, and the conflicts that inevitably arise in a family business.
Yeah. I love the fact that the way the story is told, Martin, and for those who haven't had a chance to read it, we're going to remind them how they can get it, but I love the fact that we're able to kind of take this journey along with Josh. Josh is kind of our narrator that's kind of taking us through the dynamics of business and family. Did you feel a special connection with Josh? I know a lot of times authors will say they write what they know, but did you feel a special connection with his story in this book, too?
Yes, particularly early in the book, because early in the book, he's a naive and kind of a gentle fellow, and he falls in love with Amy, who turns out later to be his wife, and that's my story also. I found a woman at Washington University who, after 2 years of my hectoring and badgering, decided to be my wife. So there was a kind of that early part of the book is much more like me. Afterwards, Josh takes over.
Yeah. And to that point, and I'll talk around this more, and I'm so glad you said that, because it is interesting kind of seeing the dynamics with Josh's parents meeting Amy and him kind of being on pins and needles as to how they were going to treat her, and especially when it comes to his father. Speaking of the father-son dynamics, and again, I'll talk around this not to spoil it, we definitely see an evolution. You do mention, of course, the way Josh starts is not the way he ends at the end of this book, for sure. And part of that is, I think, coming into his own. How much of that was known for you in the beginning, Martin, that you wanted to be, that we kind of see this evolution of Josh in this book?
Well, I think I wanted in some ways for the family story, including Josh, to parallel what happened to mall retailing and the fact that the trajectories of those were very similar. The tailwinds that helped the companies thrive during the 70s and 80s, just as Josh is thriving. But as the business starts to run into headwinds, things start to fall apart, and the desire of Josh to take over for his father, a dream he's had since childhood, is at risk, and just as the business is at risk. So I wanted there to be a certain parallel between what happened in retailing and what was happening in the family at the same time.
Another thing, last thing I want to talk to you about, Martin, and I think it's really interesting. Again, it goes to the things that are important, especially with and again, I'll talk around this, but the pronouncement from Josh's mom that kind of really changes the dynamics of things. Do you think part of this book, and probably those that will come after it, does show that even though business is such a big part of this family, the importance of family too, and what we're willing to do for those we love?
Yes, and Josh is torn throughout the book because he loves his mother deeply, and I think she's a very lovable character, an admirable character, a woman who's a strong woman, and he loves her deeply, but he also wants a career, and his father controls the trajectory of his career, so he's got this problem all along of with whom does he side when there's conflict between his father and mother. And so there are a number of climactic scenes where he's asked to make a decision as to whose side is he on. And so there's a lot of tension, and I think in the book, and development of Josh and Josh's realization and coming to terms with his father's personality and strength, and how it resolves in the end is, in many cases, leaves the reader wondering whether he did the right thing or he did not do the right thing.
It doesn't. We'll have them turn the pages, Martin, and congratulations to you. Again, everyone, Martin Sneider has been our guest. The book is Shelf Life. It's out now. You can get it, as you heard Martin mention, through our friends at Amazon.com or your favorite local bookstore. If they don't have it, I know they'd be more than happy to order it for you. As you heard Martin say, it's already a bestseller. And, Martin, I really appreciate this time, and I hope you'll come back and spend some more time with us again.
I'd love to, Cyrus. As a matter of fact, I'm taking a trip with my daughter, who is one of her objectives in life is to see every state capital. And she has yet to have the treat of visiting Jackson, Mississippi. And so we're going to do a Tallahassee, Montgomery, Jackson trip this summer. So I'm going to be in town.
All right. Forward to that, Martin. Thank you for that. And again, continued success to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.